Okay, so we're going to do our first patient on the Servo-I. So this time it's just going to be a normal patient with normal compliance and normal resistance. So we're going to come over to our test lung and we're going to do our resistance. So remember we have 5, 20, 50, and 500. Normal will be 5. We're going to put that in line. And then we're just going to change our compliance. So if you remember, normal compliance is 40 mils. So we're just going to slide this guy up. And you want to make sure that it's straight up and down that spring, that it's not crooked. It's just nice and straight. We can twist it on to make sure it doesn't move during the process. And then we're going to just adjust our pointer up top to be the same as our compliance. So we're just going to pull it over to 40 as well. Okay. From there, we need to get our ventilator ready. We know what our patient is like now, so we can adjust our ventilator accordingly. We never want to put a ventilator onto a patient before we adjust our ventilator to what we need it to be. So this is going to be an adult patient, so we can change our ventilator to adult. It's going to say, are you sure you want to accept the compressible volume changes? You're going to click yes. So there's a difference between adult and infant circuits. We just want to make sure we have the correct circuit. And then we're going to go ahead and check our orders or look at our care plan to see what we need to have set for ventilator changes for this patient.
So our order for this patient is first to place them in volume control ventilation.
So in order to change your mode on the Servo-I, if you click the top left, it'll bring open your settings screen. And then again, the top left of that screen, it's going to bring all the possible modes. So our order is volume control. It will automatically bring up the default for volume control.
So our initial order is to place them on 500 tidal volume.
We're already there.
A respiratory rate of 10. A PEEP of 0, an FiO2 of 21, an inspiratory hold of 0.1 of a second, and an inspiratory time adequate to give us a flow of about 50 liters per minute.
So in the top right, you can see it has our ITE ratio, our minute ventilation, and our flow. So right now we're at 36.4. So if we go to our I time, we can adjust that down, which increases our flow, or up, which will decrease our flow. So we want it to be about 40.
Flow of about 50.
50. So we can do 48 or 52. So this is an adult patient. So do we want a longer I time for an adult or a shorter I time for an adult? I would default to a larger I time versus a smaller I time. So we'll put it about 48.
And then set all other controls and alarms as appropriate.
So the only two left we have not talked about is the inspiratory rise and the flow trigger. You can leave the default to 0.5, 0.15 and adjust when you get it on the patient to see what their need is. And then the flow trigger, you always want that as sensitive as possible so that you don't auto trigger. So again, when you get it on your patient, things will change and you can adjust it accordingly. 5 is a good place to start and we'll adjust. So once these are done, nothing takes effect until you click accept. So it's now accepted those changes, so if we go back up, everything is as we put it.